Wow, another week,
Another week. We're doing
right?
this thing.
It's like a reality. It is so hard to schedule though, isn't it?
I know. I feel like we need to do a standing schedule.
Yeah, and then I need to stop changing the schedule. You
Well, I
think
did it
that's how
last
that
time,
works?
so yeah.
Yeah, actually, I felt good about that. You don't
Yeah.
know,
It was my fault last time.
you don't know the weight that was lifted off of me when you said you couldn't do it. I was like, yes, yes, it's not me. Um, Good weekend, right?
Very good weekend. Yes.
Was it? You had a good weekend?
Uh, I yeah. I'm counting down to having this baby, so I'm just kind of home a lot.
Do you have one of those huge calendars where you put an X at every day, and then you have your estimated birth date circled?
Yeah, I mean, we have a date, like an induction date, that if she doesn't come on her own, there is an ending day, which is good. But I'm really hoping she comes before that date because
Are
I'm
you
ready.
are you helping along? Like, what is it, jalapenos or spicy
Go
foods,
for walks. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
jumping jacks?
Just bouncing as I walk. Gravity, gravity.
Gravity! All right, well, I guess this is it. Let's start this part. Let's light this candle. What do you say?
All right, let's do it. Go ahead, Eric.
All right, welcome to the Real Agents Podcast, a weekly podcast where our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to discuss life, real estate, and everything in between. So if you like your advice and insights shaken and not stirred, well, then this is the podcast for you.
I'm Nicole Dash,
And I'm Eric Carrington, and we
and
are
we are
the
the
Real
real
Agents.
agents.
Nailed it. Third time's the charm.
We
Is it
got it.
three?
We
Is
got
it
this
three?
down. We know what
Yes.
we're doing now.
Heck yeah. All right. So, first up, yesterday was my first open house in a long time. I'll just tell you, I had COVID, and the market was a little bit dead, and I was just busy for a bunch of weekends, so I didn't have any open houses. And I had an open house, and I did all my preparation. Looked at the comps. I was at a well-priced townhouse in Springfield in our area, one of the better school districts. So it was interesting doing the lead up, previewing, seeing what was out there, uh, looking at the properties, and then just coming up with a game plan for my open, which I always try to do. So I'm as prepared as
Right.
anyone when people come in and start uh, hammering me with questions. And I did probably, I think if you estimate it, probably 6 or 7 hours worth of preparation for a 2 hour open house.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you're
I mean,
good.
I'm thinking about drive time, and then looking
Yeah.
at the houses around, and then all the computer work I did. Yeah, so roughly about 6 hours for this townhouse from 12 to 2. And I sat there from 12 to 1:35 without one guest.
No one came till 1:35.
At
Yeah.
1:35 though, it's like someone had okay, you're open now, 1:35, and then 4 groups showed up right then and there. Which
Oh,
was well, but that was overwhelming too, because you can't talk to 4 people at one time. Um
yeah. It's weird. The rhythm of open houses is like either there's just too many people going through and you can't make a really good connection with anyone, or if it's too little, then you're kind of like very eager beaver when they walk in the door. Like, hi, how are you? Can I help you? um, oh wait, maybe that's just me. You're pretty
No,
cool.
no, no, no. You are absolutely right. So like I'm we had a listing agent there too, who I won't, I'm not gonna pub because I got one little negative thing to say about the listing agent.
Oh no, I don't know.
Anyway,
It wasn't me, so
no, it was not
it
you.
was not me. You know why it wasn't me?
Why?
Because while you were at the open house, I was knitting.
Oh my God. What is that?
No, Nothing. It's nothing because
Oh,
I
you're
don't know
just
what I'm doing.
that might be the most epic.
I
So you're
felt
just
like I'm
putting
waiting for
yarn
this
together.
baby. So what do you do when you're waiting for a baby? And I just feel like I want to be creative. So I said, I'm going to knit. And I ordered on, this is really bad because I'm not really going, I'm really kind of home on bed, sort of bed rest. I ordered on Instacart from Michael's yarn and some knitting needles, and I'm watching tutorials, and I'm terrible. I'm not a knitter. Sorry.
Oh my God. You're knitting a snake.
I'm knitting. It was a blanket. Now I think it's a scarf, and I don't know what it is. So
Come on, you got to show it one more time, please.
no, this is I recast it. This is just a start because I threw out the other one I started. It was really bad. Anyway,
Wow. How many hours does that
you were
represent?
enjoying adult conversation at an open house, I'm pretending to knit.
All right. No. Okay.
All right, go back.
So back up. Please, you got to share with everyone the final product when that is done.
I will. Okay. I will take pictures.
No, you're bringing it on. This is
okay,
a visual podcast.
This is my incentive to show that I did more than one strip.
Like a diet, you got to take before picture and share it with everyone. Be accountable. All right, no. So I'm at the open house and I'm walking around for an hour and a half, just bored out of my mind. And I see this couple walking up, and I start getting excited. I'm like, all this information is like a beautiful mind is going through. Here's the average price. Here's how many houses are open in the area. Here's the school district. And they come in and they have that look, and right away, oh, you guys are neighbors, aren't you? Yeah, we're just neighbors. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
I like neighbors because I'm a listing agent.
Of course,
that's my bread and butter, right? Come be a nosy neighbor at my open. I'll share all the paint colors. I can go check out your place. I can let you know what you can do to make it beautiful to sell. But I know for you, as the buyer's agent, it's a little different.
Well, and so here's my one little nitpick. Now, the listing agent that was there with me was very busy. She was very busy that day. She was working a couple of projects, and I thought she would be a little more engaged with the listing agent. I mean, with the neighbors that came. With
the neighbor, yeah.
Yeah, and I get it. She had something she had to finish, so by all means, go ahead and knock it out. And I got to meet. It was Christy and Eric, so we had a nice little chuckle about his name, Eric. So that was great. He spelled it wrong with a K.
With what? H or no, a K.
K.
Oh, I know someone with an H. ERICH. That's really
next
wrong.
level strange. No, we don't do that. That had to be, what is that, like a Norwegian kind of thing?
I guess so. Yeah.
I know Eric with a K is a Viking, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I like Eric with a C.
That's the only way to spell it. That is, there's an actor, Eric, who spells it with a Q.
Oh, that's wrong.
Right?
There's a Q, Q-U-E?
No, just E-R-I-Q.
That doesn't know.
Which I think is breaks the laws of physics. So anyway, these folks come in, and that let me take the edge off, I guess, because I wasn't as hyped. I was able to come down.
Yeah.
Because I was ready to jump on them and just info dump and look like the anxious agent who like a puppy dog that meets its owner for the first time. But then shortly after that, a couple came in, and I was able to engage, and it was like teed up. It was great. It was
great.
It was a mom and dad and their older daughter who had just moved back into their house so they could save money to make their first purchase. I was like, were you sent from God?
Nice.
This is perfect. Oh, yeah. We just talked about the whole process, and I was able to spend about 15 minutes after they toured the house, and they came back with their questions. That's when, from a buyer's side, you're able to shine. You're able to talk about that house, that community, the timing of the purchase, and all that fun stuff. Is that kind of the same on the listing side? Like what's the perfect person that comes in, or what at an open house? What are you there to do? I know you touched on it.
So I like neighbors because when neighbors come in, or so the two types, either the people who are the move up buyers, right? They have to sell
Yeah.
a place in order to buy. So they want to talk both about buying and selling. So that's great. I love those combos. And then the people who've lived in the neighborhood maybe a while, maybe they're like original owners and they've been thinking about selling for a while and they're checking out like all the upgrades we did in the house we're about to sell, and they're really curious and they want to know what they should do. That for me is my slam dunk, right? It's like my like woo,
Yeah. Yeah.
you've lived in this neighborhood for 25, 30 years and you haven't done anything but you're open to it. Let's go. Like, that's amazing.
Those folks that came in yesterday, we were in Daventry, Hunter Village,
Hmm.
and they said they had been there for 30 years.
Oh wow. Yeah.
That had to be like when it was first built, or
Yeah,
maybe
they
they were
have to
like
be
one of the
maybe
first owners.
original or right away within the first 5 years, something like that.
So is there a way to, I mean, other than asking them, hey, are you ready to sell? Because I don't, been to a lot of open houses. People that are usually there for 30 years never come right out and say, oh,
No,
yeah, I'm ready to sell.
no, they don't. Usually you can tell there are like some key, if they're really interested in the paint colors we've used or the upgrades we've done, and they're asking specific questions about, oh, I really hope they get this price that they're asking for, and they want to be kind of informed as to like, what did it actually sell for? I think
Hmm.
a lot of times those are clues that they're thinking, and we have questions we ask. I mean, the idea is just to kind of get what's the Ford, right? Isn't that what it is? The
You tell me.
Okay, Ford. So our sales coach, right? Our coach, you want to have conversations not just about the house and
Yeah.
selling.
Yeah.
You want to
Hmm.
talk about your family, F, occupation, right? Is it occupation is O, and then
Yep.
what's
Um,
oh no,
real
R,
estate,
what real?
real estate.
And dreams. The last one is dreams. So like it's basically you're trying to like get them to go to the next level of conversation and engage them so they trust you and feel it's and I say all that as if I'm like an expert in any of this. I just go by my instincts. I just talk. I just get to know people. I mean, that's it. That's all this is. It's not like I've said before, I'm not this perfect salesperson, but I feel like if we make authentic connections with people and they trust you and they feel comfortable with you, they're going to automatically share that information and give you clues and be like, well, I really want to move closer to my daughter that lives in Utah, right? Like, oh, I can help you with that. So,
I think that's the sweet spot, what you mentioned about the authentic conversations, because yeah, people, they want to deal with someone that they can have a conversation with and feel comfortable with. I mean, it's one thing to have all that information and be able to disseminate it like right away. But if it comes off robotic and there's no personal connection there, I don't think you're doing your job. It has
right.
to be, it has to be more just compassionate a lot of times, because you really got to listen to the motivations,
Hmm.
and you got to react to their motivations, and share empathy, and share experience, and so people are comfortable knowing that this is the type of person that I'm willing to spend these next few months with, because it is a relationship that's going to last for months,
It's
buyer side,
true.
selling side. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Months,
mean,
sometimes years.
well, I was about to say, and yeah,
Yeah. So
years
sometimes
after.
we meet people at open houses, we make a good connection. They want to know, oh, did it sell the house that they visited, right? And we'll stay in touch via email, text. And then, if they have that true connection, they'll reach back out or be open to you reaching out over time when they're actually ready. And I'm not a pushy person where, I'll be like, okay, well, if I don't get a meeting with them within 1 week, they're done. Because I've had people come back to me 6 months, a year, 2 years later after meeting them because we had a real connection uh, together in person at the open house. and I didn't put too much pressure on them, but I was available. So I think there's a balance definitely there.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't write off many people that I meet at the open house. I do my due diligence when we get home. After the open house, I'll go through, the people that came through and log everyone, and then reach out to the people that I think, I had a connection with. And sometimes you don't hear from people right away. Well, let's be honest. You don't hear from most of them.
Right.
But you leave the door open, and I've had people that reached out to me 6 months after meeting them at an open house. You reach out occasionally with an email, hey, just wondering how you're doing, how are your things going. But there have been people that have fallen through the cracks for me that I haven't reached out to, and then all of a sudden you get an email that says, hey, Eric, we met at DeQuincy open house back in April, and we're ready to buy a house. It's like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's like when the skies open up and they just drop joy on you. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a nice compliment when sometimes neighbors are hesitant to sign in at the open house, but they may take your card. And then I've gotten before the phone call, we really liked you, your energy, we really liked you. And I'm like, that's the best compliment in the world, because the last thing I would want anyone to walk away is be like, okay, another realtor. I hope she doesn't bother me. So,
I've done open houses with you, and the thing that I think is interesting about you is you're 100% genuine. You're not the person who takes a breath and says, all right, I'm going to put on the salesman face and start talking. That's not you. You are just like, you're coming into your house, and it's
right.
It's hello, how are you? It's wonderful. Yeah. And there's other people on our team that are able to do that as well. But I think you do it at another level, and it just makes people feel comfortable.
Thank you. You're sweet. Yeah. I feel the same about you, of course. You're a master. You teach a master class. And
I was absolutely fishing for that compliment.
I know. Well, no, it's true. I think it's a good. You're natural.
So all right. So at the open house yesterday, right before I was leaving, this couple had come in. They were very standoffish. They didn't want to say anything to me, which is fine because I was engaging with the other couple, and that was okay. Which is always, that in itself is always interesting too, right? You're having this conversation, and then someone walks in the house, and now you've got to look off, welcome the people in, but not lose those other people that you're talking to, right?
Right.
That's a juggling act that I actually kind of like. I like doing that. But
yeah.
But this couple didn't want to have anything to do with me, so they're walking around the house. And just before I'm about to leave, they come in from outside, and the guy's rubbing his head, and he's like, yeah, a wasp stung me on my head.
Oh no.
Yeah. I never know how to react to something like that.
You didn't have that in your tool kit?
No, I did not. I was like,
your open house box.
I said, you're not allergic, are you? He was like, no. I was like, good, because I left my EpiPen at home.
Gosh.
Offered him a Band-Aid, offered him some ice. But what do you do with something like that?
I don't know. That's not, I don't think that's a normal open house event where because that was, I don't know.
Stung by a wasp on his forehead. I've had people fall down the steps before.
Let's make a list. We have to make a list. What is the weirdest injury?
Do you have one?
What is the liability for you?
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's like, what if this guy went into anaphylactic shock? Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Or apoplectic shock? No,
anaphylactic. Yeah. If they were actually allergic. Well, hopefully they would carry their own EpiPen if they're allergic to wasps, right? That's their responsibility. But yeah, I don't know.
Which brings up another question. What's the purpose of a wasp?
To be really annoying and stingy.
They don't pollinate plants, right? If all the wasps disappeared, what would happen? Oh, then the birds would have nothing to eat.
Yeah, I mean, everything's connected, Eric. I think we need everything, because they may actually pollinate. I don't know. They don't make honey though.
I don't think wasps are pollinate. Well, you know what? I can do 1,000%.
Our producer has just texted me that they do in fact pollinate.
Elijah knows everything.
He's got the fast Google fingers there.
I'd be interested to know what they pollinate. We should one.
Just
Tell me what a
flowers.
wasp pollinates.
They just go up from flower to flower and spread the seed.
I
Right?
have never seen a wasp on a flower. All I've seen a wasp doing is getting up in my face, like bring it on. I don't like wasps are terrible. Yeah.
Well, I have a story about wasps. There was when I was about 12 years old, I was at the playground with my sisters and some friends, and there was a wasp nest on the ground. And for whatever reason, I decided to step on it. I don't know. I was with a friend who was just like daring me to touch it, and I didn't really believe it was a full nest. But sure enough, I don't know. I was 12. I stepped on it. It looked like a bunch of leaves. I stepped on it, and all of a sudden, the wasps go up into the sky, and everyone screams, "Bees!" And they start running, and I freeze. I freeze because I had like gum in my mouth, and I remember spitting the gum out and like hoping they'd go to the gum instead of me. And they were surrounding me, buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. And I kept saying, "They won't sting you if you don't move," because that was the advice I was given. But that advice does not apply, FYI, if you step on their home. So after about the fifth sting, I finally like woke up and ran and down the hill because my house was like down at the bottom of the hill, and everyone watched me and they said they did not see my feet touch the ground. Like I just ran all the way. Sure enough, I had 5 stings. None of the stingers were in me though, which was great, but
Okay.
like yeah.
Wasps don't. I don't think
mess
they
with
leave their
wasps
stinger
anymore.
No, wasp can sting you twice if I'm not mistaken. Like they can keep going.
And they can keep that. So yeah. So and I was just remember the buzzing and yeah. So never step on a wasp nest. A. B. Run. Don't stand still. They don't avoid you.
Yeah, I think I used to tell my kids, "All right, you're bigger than that wasp. Just take care of it. If you got to, the wasp can't bother you."
Yeah.
But let's be honest, they're pretty intimidating, right? Yeah. Did you get all puffed up? Did you look like?
No, I didn't. I luckily I'm not allergic, and it was fine. But hard lesson, like a lot of things in life, right?
And I do know that they are part of the food chain. We can't get rid of all wasps. No. Yes, but I don't want them at my open houses anymore.
No, not a good selling feature.
I did have a guy fall down.
Remember that guy will go back and be like, "What about that house? Oh, the house I got stung with a wasp," and then that'll make them want to buy it, right?
I'm not following that, but
no,
hey,
no. It's
he's always gonna relate the house to pain. Every time he goes in the backyard, his head is gonna itch.
It's like, oh, the wasp. This is the wasp house. No. So, what else did you do this weekend, Eric, other than open houses?
The wife and I were sitting on the couch. We had just played dominoes where she beat me again, like 2 times in a row, which is unheard of. And we're like, so what are we going to do for the rest of the night? I'm like, well, let's watch a movie. We go, and I'm on flipping through Apple TV. They're not a sponsor. They should be. Anyway, yeah. And Top Gun Maverick is available for purchase.
Oh, nice.
What? $20. I know that's outrageously expensive, but we thought about going to the movies and seeing it.
You, right?
Yeah. I mean, and it's Top Gun Maverick. I had seen it before. Felicia had not seen it. And like we had seriously considered that day going to the movies to see that. And the in-theater experience is awesome. I don't know. Did you see it in theaters?
I did. I saw it in theaters, and I think it was the first movie after the pandemic, like my husband and I actually went to in person, and it was awesome. Like it was just, and we had watched the first one because we knew we were going. We watched the first one before, and it really was like just all the connections. They did such a good job with the nostalgia and really feeling like, like homage to the how am I saying that right? But homage to the first one, but being its own movie, like I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
And I said that to Felicia before we watched it. Yeah, so we buy the movie and we're getting ready to watch it, and we watch some of the some of the extra footage stuff. Like he did this whole thing with James Corden, Tom Cruise did.
Oh, that's
That dude
cool.
is like stupid. He flies his own planes. Him and James Corden were flying around in some World War II era plane, and then he flies a jet airplane, and he's doing all the acrobatics. I guess when you got Tom Cruise money, you can teach yourself to do just about anything.
I
Right?
mean, can you imagine? Well, and his energy. I think
No.
that's also part of it. Is like he just has an endless energy, and
And
he's
isn't
like,
he like 90 years old and he looks like he's 30?
I don't know. He's definitely whatever he's taking. I want to know about because he's definitely not aged at all. I mean, he looks great. He looks better than he did, I think.
There's a scene in Top Gun Maverick. He takes his shirt off and he's playing football. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is CGI. There's no
Yeah.
way. I think he's 60, right?
Is he 60? Really?
Something like that. He's 60.
Hmm.
That's ridiculous.
Producer, Google that, please.
Yeah, he's all over the wash stuff. He can't get
I
on top of
know.
how old is Tom Cruise?
How old is Tom Cruise? We need to know.
All right. So anyway,
Yeah.
we sit down, we put the movie in, and yeah, like right away they open up with that, like the same opening from the first movie. Like, did you realize that if you watch Top Gun and
Yeah.
then you watch Top Gun Maverick, the opening is exactly the same. It's the same exact open, but it just looks 1,000 times better. It's like they high resed it or whatever,
Right.
and just right away you're just in. And that movie is a ride. I mean, it's awesome now. And yep, our
Six,
super producer, 60
60
years
years
old.
old.
Good
Amazing.
job, kid.
How is he 60?
Yeah, 60 years. That's ridiculous.
It's
It's ridiculous.
no, too much.
Now, I will say this: upon second viewing of the movie, it's just as ridiculous as the first one, but in a good way, not in a bad
Yeah.
way. Like I love the first movie and I love the second movie, but everyone was like, "Oh, but the second one is a real movie."
Uh,
It's still kind of crazy. I
yeah,
mean,
it's still out there. I mean, the whole concept, but that's not why we watch it, right? It doesn't have to be real. It's cool. It's fun. Some good-looking guys. Oh, wait, that's just me. No, but I mean,
they're with you.
No, but I mean, it was fun. It was a great experience. Like that's one of those movies, and I've seen interviews with a lot of the people. I mean, they were really up there in the air, flying and getting sick, and having to. I mean, I can't even imagine the G force like that they were
So,
putting on themselves for preparation.
I actually, this movie was done, I think, like 2 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. Well before the pandemic, they finished it. I helped one of the pilots who flew for that movie. Like he wasn't. They taped him flying and
Right.
used some of his footage, in the movie. And I helped him buy a place in Springfield. He got stationed at
Really?
at the Pentagon. And it was pretty cool. He was telling me about it. How like they would beat the crap out of these actors. They would just
Yeah.
purposely try to make
that was
them.
the goal.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that was the goal. Try to make them puke. And like, I think one of the things he was saying was like Tom Cruise wanted to fly because he could fly, but they were like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're not touching the controls.
These
Don't even think
military
about it.
equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're famous and all, but you're not that important.
You buy one. You give us $3 billion for one of these planes,
Right.
and you can do whatever you want.
So you're kind of, a real estate person to the stars, right? Isn't that what that is? Sort of
You know what's sad?
adjacent.
Yes, there it is. Yeah, I was a part of that movie. Practically,
Eric Carrington was part of Top Gun.
I should have been in the credits. I think my problem is my memory sucks. So, and then when I'm in the moment with stuff, I don't realize like how important it is. Like, yeah, I should have took a picture with this dude and I should have been telling everybody, yeah, this dude's in Top Gun, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't think about it. And then it all kind of dawned on me when we were seeing the movie. Yeah, he told me he was one of the pilots flying these missions and they used his footage and he had all this info. And I reached out to him when we saw the movie the first time, but he was overseas and he couldn't really chat. But what a cool movie. I mean, cool ass movie. And yeah, I cried the first time they had the Iceman scene where at the end he goes, who was really the better pilot? And Tom Cruise looks at him and goes, "This was really a good moment. Let's not ruin it." And I was like, "Oh, that was like the perfect way to do that."
I
A
know.
little tear. But I'm a lightweight when it comes to that stuff.
You're sentimental.
Yes, I am.
I'm sentimental all the time right now, but
Are you?
that's just
Does
the way
everything
it
make
is.
you cry? Yeah. Do you watch like Dateline and all that stuff, and then cry for all the people on Dateline?
No.
Good.
Commercials. No, actually, it's weird. I don't see commercials anymore. Those used to get me, but
Oh my
I
God.
don't see commercials anymore.
You're too young for this, but there was back in New York City, we had a phone company, Bell, I guess, Bell Phone, something. And they had a commercial where this clown was like on the road with the circus, but he would call his daughter every night to say goodnight, and he'd be in his clown makeup with the sad face. And then they just kept showing like him call his daughter and reach out and touch someone.
Yeah.
Reach out, call up, and just
Those are always.
But it was just a somber one.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember watching that and then crying like a baby every time that came on. Yeah.
I remember like Cheerios commercials, like old Cheerios. I don't know. There's some old, like 11 years ago when I had my last baby, being ridiculous, the nostalgic.
You cried from a Cheerios commercial?
It was, yes, it was as bad.
You were just hungry.
Maybe. That's true. I'm very impressionable these days. But
so funny you should mention Cheerios. I'm on that diet and they give you food. The only thing that's good is the Cheerios they make. That's it. Everything else tastes like crap. But the Cheerios is great.
Which one? Which do you want to say? Which one it is?
Optiva.
Oh yeah.
Why does everybody know this?
I've tried everything. I mean, not now, but I've tried everything.
So you know this diet. What do you think of the food on this diet?
The 5 times a day.
Yes.
The pre-portioned shakes and snacks, and then yeah.
Okay, so what's the best food? You tell me. What's your opinion?
Some of the bars with chocolate.
Yeah.
Mint, the chocolate mint crunch. I like the chocolate mint crunch. It's been a while, but I remember the chocolate mint crunch bar. Yes.
I can't.
Sort of. I know what you're doing. Yes. I think that's
anyway.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, I keep that by the desk. When I get to my 2 hour, I just suck one down. This is the drizzled chocolate fudge crisp bar.
Are you past the hunger?
No.
No.
Not at all.
To go away in a couple of days, right?
Yeah, that's a load of crap. No.
So in addition to Top Gun,
okay.
Well, not in addition, you saw Top Gun. What my husband and I saw this weekend was the new HBO show, the prequel to Game of Thrones, The House of Dragon.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Don't spoil anything, but how was it?
Well, I won't spoil anything, but I will say that, I didn't know what I was getting into with the first episode. And there is a graphic scene that if you're pregnant, it's very graphic. I'm okay. That stuff doesn't really impact me too much, but it can be a trigger for some people, right? So I was texting on my family thread with my mom and my sisters, and I was like, hey, you've seen Game of Thrones, you should really start watching House of Dragon. It's really cool. And my mom, I love her. She was like, oh, I never saw Game of Thrones, but I really want to watch House of Dragon. I was like, well, it's a prequel, like more than 100 years in advance. I said, I mean, you could probably stand alone and watch it. It won't mean the same, but sure. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. So she starts watching it immediately. I don't know. She must have been like looking for something, because I like 30 minutes or 20 minutes later, she's like, Nicole, you shouldn't watch it because you're pregnant. There's a really graphic scene. I was like, hello, I just told you I saw it and I'm telling you to go watch it. I'm okay. But I thought that was funny. Once a mom, always a mom.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they're always protecting you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it good? Was it as good as Game of Thrones? All right, let's just say the last season of Game of Thrones is trash. I hated it.
Yeah. I mean, I was disappointed with how it ended too. But I was late to the bandwagon of Game of Thrones, and I binged like 7 seasons in a row, and then had to wait for that last eighth season. I think
Oh, so you were really disappointed.
so. I was really upset because you watch 7 in a row over the course of like a whole summer, let's say, and then I had to wait like 6 months, and I was still fresh because I had seen all 7 in a row, and then like the last one, I was like, oh my gosh, why?
I have this theory about binging too. Like, I think if you binge something, it's not as bad as if you're watching it, as it comes out. Because when you're
Mhm.
watching Game of Thrones as it comes out, you've got to wait 7 days. You got to wait a week for each episode. So all that anticipation goes in your mind, but if you're binging it, you finish episode 1, 10 minutes later, you're watching episode 2, then episode 3, then episode 4. You're not setting yourself up, and getting all this
Right.
anticipation for a week. And that's what really sucked about that last season. I mean, it was for that to be the payoff after 7 seasons,
It's
and
hard to end things right. It is. I think people, they either try too hard or it's too obscure, and it like has like they try and like wrap it all up with like footnotes from the first season, and it just, I don't know, when producers or directors, whoever's the writers, whoever's in charge of doing it has their last couple of episodes, I'm like, it's just sometimes overthought. I'm like,
yeah,
come on. Just give us
yeah.
what we wanted the whole time.
And I guess what, like, it deviated from the books after like season 3, I think. So they were making it
Mhm.
all up. They
Yeah.
probably stole some stuff from different books, but yeah, the writers, they couldn't figure out how to end it. There was something I watched this weekend that was a season finale, and I remember thinking, wow, they really stuck the landing. Um, only murderers in the building. Totally different than Game of Thrones.
Oh, I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I haven't gotten into it yet.
It's really fun. I mean, it's a lot of
Yeah,
fun. If you like Steve Martin and Martin Short
I
and
do
Selena
like them.
Gomez, I
Yeah.
mean, Steve Martin and Martin Short are great. And season 2 was a little different. It got kind of meta where they were
Hmm.
talking to the screen, kinda, but not really.
Oh, yeah.
But no, but it was fun. But it kind of went like up and down. Like they try to make you think someone did it and then someone else did it, and you can tell, like, yeah, they're just messing with your head there. That can't be real. So I was a little worried about the last episode, but it was awesome. Like, the way, like, these are writers who I think they probably wrote the last episode first
Mm.
and then wrote the whole season.
Yeah, you got to do
Which,
that.
yeah, which
Yeah,
I
that's
think
great.
helped because that was how you end a season. I mean, it wrapped everything up neatly and coolly, and there were all these like turns through the episode. But it answered every question, and it didn't feel rushed. And then they also like played into the next season, which was really well done too.
That's great.
um but going back to Game of Thrones, that last season just was, let's just finish, let's just wrap this up, let's change personalities
Hmm.
midway through. I mean, some of the stuff that Daenerys did, I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna get skewered for getting her name wrong.
Daenerys. Now I don't know. You
Some of
said
the ways she
it.
reacted in that last season was just totally out of character.
Hmm.
You know. Anyway, it was
Yeah,
so. But did you like it? Did you
I
like
did. I think
House of
it's
Dragon?
it took, what I have to do now though is I have to put subtitles on. I can't
Oh,
I can't watch shows without subtitles anymore. And it partly is the accents, and just, I watch it laying down, but also just, I don't know. I've become that person that I put subtitles on every show I watch.
yes,
And so I
yes.
started watching it, and I looked at my husband and I was like, "Can you put the subtitles on?" He looked at me. I was like, "Yes, I need help." I
I
can't.
don't know why people frown on the subtitles.
It's good. And I actually have
Yeah,
a whole thing that there's a whole, it used to be like people would make fun of you for it, but now more and more people are using them. And there's actually something about your brain and working too hard to like decipher the language. And that
yeah.
actually they've done studies that show that it helps with your aging process. I don't know. We have to look that up. Producer, look it up. No, but there's something there that I believe it. So now, if you want to live long with your full facilities, use subtitles. That's
subtitles are the answer, right? We should have subtitles on everything. When we're just talking to people, there should be words floating over their head. No, I think I got on that train, I think like 4 or 5 years ago. I just was like, I'm tired of having to ride the remote up and down or back up because I couldn't understand what someone was saying. I think it was who's the guy who played in the Batman movie?
Oh, yeah. Which one? Not Michael Keaton.
No. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart this morning.
Tom Hardy. He says
Tom Hardy.
You're so good.
Our producer's on it today. We got to pay him extra.
I know.
Tom Hardy, I think, is the one who turned me on to using subtitles because he mumbles through everything. And I was like, I can't understand a word this man's saying. Yeah, I love subtitles. I think they are absolutely imperative on everything. So I'm right there with you. That's the smartest thing you said today, Nicole.
Thank you. I'm going to write that down, Eric. We had to put subtitles on our podcast video.
No. I don't think people can decipher what's coming out of my mouth. Who does that? Is that an AI? Like, could we just turn subtitles?
Yeah, on YouTube you can do it, I think, and on I know on Facebook for their videos, but I don't know how accurate. You have to edit it though, because they're not always accurate.
Have you ever watched a subtitled movie, a foreign language subtitled movie?
Yeah.
And have you had the closed captioning on?
Yeah, and there's mistakes.
It's different.
Yeah,
that's what
it's totally different.
It's like they're saying two different things.
Yeah. Well, and do you want to know something? I used to work in my past life for the National Court Reporters Association, which they're the people in the court, but they also were the ones who would do the closed captioning, live closed captioning.
Because makes perfect sense.
They're the fastest ones. Yeah. Now, I don't know if they're still the ones that do it like on the ones after it's been recorded. Probably not. But anytime you have like live broadcasting and you need subtitles, they call in the court reporters and that skill set for that. And it was pretty cool learning all about that then. Now technology has changed so much. I wonder if they even need them.
Could you run that machine? You were able to do that thing?
No. I did their newsletters and wrote articles and that was a whole, it's almost like the people who can do that, the skill set, they have to have the piano, like it's almost like they're pianists, right? Because they're hearing the words and coming out of their fingers at the same time. And it's not everyone can do it because it's almost like they don't process it. It just goes right.
Well, yeah, it's got to be like playing an instrument because that machine too had no, there's no markings on it. It was 3 rows of keys, right?
Yeah, it's not a regular keyboard.
And and you just like push. It was my uncle. I know was going to school for it, court stenographer, which I'm thinking, probably might be an outdated occupation now.
It might be. I mean, I know in the courts they still have them.
You know what? That might be another podcast thing. Like
we'll have to research that too.
A list of outdated occupations that we wish were back again. Toll booth operator.
Yeah. No, there's still. Well, no, you're right. A lot of them are disappearing now. There's a few, but now you drive through and there's no one there.
The other day it was a couple of years ago. I got triggered because all I had was money and there was no one there. And I was like, are they going to come after me if I just go through? What am I going to do? Yeah, I drove through.
Yeah. They send
Never heard anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was on Dulles Toll Road. Now watch. Now
you're going to get something in the mail. You owe them like $5,000 in back fees.
Hey, super producer, can you find out if I owe money to Dulles Toll Road?
He'll get right on that.
All right. Well, we've been talking about anything, everything. This was truly the podcast. We went anything and everything.
This is good. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think, what do you want to talk about next week?
next week. I don't know. We gotta brainstorm that one. We
Figure it
gotta,
out.
whatever happens, happens.
Right?
Maybe I'll be having a baby soon, and then we can talk about that.
Oh my God. Yes, you need to bring your calendar and
So,
and put
yeah.
it up for us.
And maybe
So
I'll
we can
show
see it.
my progress on my knitting.
Absolutely.
This will be a knitting podcast.
I think you have to lead with that.
If people want to know, when our next one comes out, then please subscribe, like, follow, friend, whatever the words you use are to follow us.
Hit that notification bell too. I keep pointing with a pen that is obscured. Hit the notification bell so you get to find out when our next episode is coming out. Like Nicole said, like and subscribe, and you won't miss out on any of this wonderful conversation. We'll talk about your favorite movie and dead jobs and all that.
So come back next week for
more fun,
Real Agents of Fun,
Real Agents of Change, and Real Agents of Real Estate.
We'll throw that in there.
We're so smooth.
I know, we're good. We're getting better, right? I don't know.
We'll see you later. Thanks,
right.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.